Hi, welcome to Star Code Cipher. We read the cards here for fun and hopefully for some enlightenment. All right, we're going to be using the Guiding Light Oracle, and I'm going to pair it with the Starborn Arcana, and let's see what the message is for this reading. Now, the Guiding Light Oracle has some really large cards. It's a big deck. It's a beautiful deck. Spacey, galaxy, NASA like type of deck, but way too big for my hands, so bear with me here. We're going to do some clunky shuffling, awkward shuffling, and we will pick one card to see. Soul contracts. Before you were born, you agreed to partake in a specific experience that assists in the evolution of your soul. Okay. This reading is supposed to be for the collective, but you know, full disclosure, I don't entirely believe in soul contracts. I'm not exactly sure how to articulate the fact that I'm very dubious about soul contracts. I have to think about it before I share that. But anyway, that's me. Let's see what the cards have to say about that. And I'm not making fun of anybody who believes that they're here on Earth trying to accomplish a soul contract. I do understand the concept. Oh. Tea light went out. I wonder if that's a sign, somebody telling me to shut up and just shuffle. Yeah, it's very difficult for me to wrap my head around soul contracts, just because there are parts of it, of that whole concept, that I question. But anyway, let's see. Whoops. I don't read cards that fall out, guys, so don't. It's just my awkwardness in shuffling. All right, let's see. Maybe this reading will illuminate me as well. All right. The Eight of Swords.
Power on.
This is 8 right here. Temperance. One, 2, 3, and 4. 14. The Moon. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, and 3. The 10 of Swords. 9. Yes, 4 of Wands. 2, 3, 4. Ooh, the Devil. Okay. Let's see. Page of Cups, Page of Wands, Strength. Guys, I apologize for all the extra noise that's going on in my neck of the woods today. If you are hearing through it, we'll get through it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's not enough, so I will have to reshuffle because there's not enough to pull out the 8th card. That means I have to reshuffle the deck. And this is just how I lay down cards, guys. It's my process for picking the cards. I let the deck or the cards themselves tell me which is the next card that should be in the spread. So there's two instances where I will shuffle the deck. That is if I get the Fool, which has the number 0, or if I run out, then that's how I know that I'm supposed to reshuffle and pick. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, let's see. Okay. Okay, this is, you know, again, a very difficult topic for me to wrap my head around as far as soul contracts. And usually the only time that I'm concerned with soul contracts is when somebody else mentions it. And I've only ever heard people mentioning soul contracts when something in somebody's life has gone wrong. And one of the things that really turns me off about soul contracts and when things are going wrong in people's lives, it's because, how do I say this? But here we have the 8 of Swords, right? And it's crossed by Temperance. But let's just concentrate on the 8 of Swords, and I'm trying to make this point. The 8 of Swords talks about kind of like the problems that you get yourself into and that you don't have, that you don't perceive yourself to have the means to get out. Everyone else sees that you can get out of that bind if you want to, but you don't see it, right? These are problems that are easily solved if you just unbind yourself from them, right? The people on the outside looking in and can see the fact that you can get out of those binds if you wanted to. Is that if you wanted to issue that, or portion of that really bothers me, because everyone else can see it but you can't see it, right? And then instead of helping you get out of a bind, despite the fact that if you probably could do it by yourself if you knew how, right? And the fact that you get in, here's the devil, right? The fact that you have gotten yourself into a bind, people will say, well, that's what you contracted for. You came into this life to learn that lesson. Honestly, you know, here's the 10 of Swords, the 8 of Swords, the devil. And I know that I see the 8 of Swords here being crossed by Temperance, but I have an issue, okay? And maybe I also, as part of the collective, need to take a hint from the Temperance and try to be a little bit more balanced about this soul contract issue. But I do take an issue with people so easily stating that the person who is in the snares of the devil is in the snares of the devil because that's what they contracted for. Like an abused woman who got into a relationship not knowing that she was going to end up being abused. Well, that was her lesson to learn. It's just so easy, in my opinion, to blame the victim. And that's how I see the whole thing with soul contracts. Is I have come across it with people using that as a means to sort of wash their hands from helping somebody who's in need. Right? That's how I've experienced that in the community. And I don't particularly like that. I don't know of anybody in their right effing mind that will contract in this life or in the life before, or, you know, in the beyond, where we have our guides, you know, after we die, to contract to come into a situation that is harmful to them. And here is where the balance comes in, especially for folks who are really in the snare of it, who are really having a tough time. Look at this moon and don't know how to deal with, how to surface, how to come up for freaking air, right? Because nobody is lending them a hand, and everyone is just okay with allowing suffering to happen because it's what that person contracted for. It's what they needed to learn. Now, I could be completely off as far as how I'm relating to the whole things when it comes to soul contracts. We all have family issues, family dynamics that are less than savory, right? Things that we didn't, you know, well, not all of us, some of us, you know, and it's just condescending. I find the whole thing about soul contracts to be the work of the goddamn devil. And as far as, you know, I don't know of anyone who will willingly come into this life to have a bad time. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's not to say that we don't experience bad things. We absolutely do. Sometimes we're blindsided by it. It comes up from underneath us. We don't see it coming, and it causes us a lot of mental strain, a lot of mental and physical pain, right? These trials and tribulations that we go through in our lives, yes, they are tests, but did we ask for it before we were born? I just can't wrap my head around that, okay? I can only talk about the experiences that those negative experiences and the snares that we get ourselves caught in here in this world, okay? These are, whatever it is for you right now, in this moment, I want to let you know that I don't think that you deserve it or that you asked for it. Point blank, period. That in any iteration of yourself. And you can come at me for that, okay? But I am not gonna blame a victim of a trouble by stating, well, you know, you contracted for this before you were born. I don't believe in that. And that's my issue with soul contracts. With that whole concept, because I think that it's just another way to blame the victim and not really put the onus of the problems that somebody is going through right on the devil. Whoever that devil is in your life that is bringing you trouble, strife, is doing all this nonsense to you that's coming from all sides, including from underneath, that's not on you, darling, okay? So temperance is the way to go. Balancing, even if you do believe in soul contracts, be very careful that you don't believe it so strongly that you don't do anything to protect yourself from somebody who is doing you harm. Okay? Pick yourself up in a way that, you know, all of these bad things that happen to us, if we learn from them properly, will make us stronger, right? What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. That kind of idea, that I do believe. That is true. But again, even if you believe that this was a lesson that you contracted to learn, be very careful that you don't allow it to defeat you in this life. Because I've also seen how the attitudes of others that come in, well, you asked for it, this is, this is your contract, can help sink the person that is going through this trial and tribulation even further down, where not even the light of the moon is enough of a guide to bring you up, okay? So that is my concern for you if you happen to be in a really bad bind right now, in a very sticky situation. That be careful of those that are around you trying to wash their hands of the situation, of being able to help you out. Let's look at this Four of Wands, okay? This is usually a happy state. These are the others that are, in a good position. They're already in that greener grass. But there are others there that are trying to show you the way. This is a wonderful little Four of Wands here. They're reaching out to you and they're trying to show you the way to be in a better and safer place. Slowly but surely, the people who see the trials that you're going through are going to make themselves known to you. And just like the Page of Wands, they're going to light the way, show you the way, let you borrow some of their strength, not blame you for what the devil is doing in your life right now. And the devil here is metaphorically. I don't I don't believe in an actual real devil. Again, you can come at me in the comments for that. But we all know who this character is in our own personal lives. We understand the concept of the devil, that person that is trying to tempt you away, not only just from the things you know, but from yourself, and trying to get you, if he or she is not the architect of the problems, they're trying to lead you into problems, okay? So being able to recognize that person is very important, and being able to recognize agents of that person is also important. Not everybody has ill intent towards you, but a lot of people also don't have the means or the experience or the training, or just, they don't know how, there's sympathy and empathy, and a lot of people lack the ability to do both of those things when they see other people in need. So you, as the person in need, also need to keep that in balance. Other people, don't take on other people's failures onto yourself while you're going through a bad time, okay? Look for help. Slowly but surely, there's people who are experienced, who are professionals, who can help you out of this mess right in here, okay? You don't have to stay in this situation. These are all of the troubles that you know, and these are the people who you don't yet know who can help you, who have been through this and know how to get out of it without blaming you for it. I don't believe that anybody's soul contract is to come into this life to suffer. That's not to say that suffering doesn't happen. It absolutely does. We do learn from it. Okay, it does happen. But we need to keep it in perspective, and chalking it up to, well, that's what you had coming because you asked for it, is not helpful, in my humble opinion. It's simply not helpful, and it's scary. It can be scary when you also don't have that to fall back on. Understanding that you have the right, you have the right to be a whole person, to be in your in a good state, in a happy state, in your own strength, that you can be balanced, that it is your right to be a whole human being in this world, can be scary if you have been in this situation for too long, if you've never seen what that actually looks like, what being in a good place actually looks like. And finding ways to help others keep you down is something that you really need to recognize in yourself as well. We sometimes are our own worst enemies, and we open the door to nefarious people to do the things that they're going to do to us because we're not operating in balance. We're not seeing ourselves in a balanced way. We're not seeing the issues and the problems in a balanced way, and it allows others to just pull our strings constantly. It doesn't have to be that way, and you don't have to accept that this is something that you deserved. Break, if you believe in contracts and soul contracts, you also have the right to break it if it's no longer working. I'm just gonna put it out there. Just break the contract, okay? Don't go through it. I don't know, to be quite honest, and it may be my own inexperience. I don't know. I reject taking into myself a failure. Okay, a failure of either the system, the failure of other people's, the failure of being harmed. I accept when I make mistakes, and then I just pick myself up. I learn from them in the moment. I pick myself up and I keep going. I will not allow someone to continuously be pulling my strings or harming myself, and that includes me. Again, sometimes we are our own worst enemies, and sometimes we think that the bad things that happen to us, we bought into it, that we're not worthy, right? That we're not worthy of the good things to come into our lives. But we are. And so rejecting this, you deserve the bad things that happen to you because, you asked for it or you contracted for it, is, I don't know what you would get out of that. Ultimately, who wants to be in this tortured state all the time? You don't need to be, okay? The Eight of Swords is very much a call to, you can pick yourself out. You can get these people out of your lives, right? Get these creepy people, these weird people, these two-faced people with their own hidden agendas, trying to pull you down into some strange state of being, out of your life. You can do that. You don't need to, you do not need to suffer just to evolve. I don't believe in that. I personally don't believe in that. So look for the people in your life that will help you get out of whatever this mess in, and don't buy into you deserve it, that you're less, that you're in this mess because you contracted for it. I'm sorry. Put that aside. Pick yourself up. You are worth so much more. And I don't think that pain, this kind of pain images, they speak louder, right? But this kind of abuse is not necessary for your soul's evolution, all right? It just isn't. It just isn't. All right, and that's what's above this whole reading of whether you are going to keep letting others have their way with you because, you know, some life lesson or whatever. You know, you don't need that. And I don't believe that people agreed before they're born to partake in suffering as a way to evolve your soul. Think very hard on the craziness of that, and don't let anybody convince you of it, because yeah, it's not true for me. I don't know. Hopefully it won't be true for you. Hopefully you'll have the strength to actually live in a truth that's completely yours, and not somebody else's concept of how your soul should evolve. Alrighty guys, I think I rambled enough. I'm gonna leave it there. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you give yourself some permission to break away from some of these harmful concepts that aren't going to really get you much. Unless you're into having a martyr complex. I don't know. I don't see that here. I don't see how that's beneficial to you here in this or any other lifetime. All right, guys? Alrighty, lovelies. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know where you think I've gone wrong. Tell me in the comments what you think about soul contracts, and if maybe my perspective is a bit skewed because of it. Because of my personal experience, which I know I haven't really detailed here, but I think you can kind of get the hint as to why I let me know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. You never know. I'm open to being schooled. Anyway, until the next video, I hope you are being safe where you're out and about doing your good in this world. See you in the next video. Bye.